Many young adults, such as me and my older sister, grew up watching and still enjoy watching cartoons we grew up with, especially SpongeBob. If you also enjoy SpongeBob or are just coming into the workforce out of high school or college, Rocko's Modern Life may be something you enjoy. In my opinion, Rocko's Modern Life is the perfect cartoon for young adults. While many cartoons aimed at adults exist, many of them feel like they are a never-ending parade of senseless gore, sex, and violence, such as Brickleberry or Drawn Together. Or the relatable issues they focus on are a family dynamic, such as Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, or Family Guy. These aren't bad ways to do cartoons, but with many of us young adults being at the point of moving away from our childhood homes, the issues we deal with seem underrepresented. That's where Rocko's Modern Life comes in. It follows a wallaby named Rocko who is in his 20s, just trying to survive in the United States and dealing with issues that are relatable to this day. To show what I mean, let's talk about the first season. No Pain, No Gain follows Rocko and his best friend Heifer getting gym memberships at an exclusive gym to get in shape. They are being judged the whole time by the Chameleon brothers on whether or not they fit in. Rocko makes an effort to work out, but Heifer stops trying to use the equipment correctly and just ends up eating and watching cartoons. When Rocko convinces Heifer to try again, Heifer accidentally destroys part of the basketball court and launches all the water out of the pool. Eventually, after ripping Miss Big Head's towel off in the sauna, the Chameleon brothers kick Heifer out. They invite Rocko to stay, but Rocko chooses to stick by his friend. The episode ends with Rocko and Heifer back at Rocko's house, eating pizza and exercising. You could take this episode at face value and just see it as two friends getting kicked out of a gym, but I think it's an allegory for multiple things, or at least the way I interpret it. I think one of the simplest comparisons I can make between this and real-world issues would be with the way the Chameleon brothers treat Rocko and Heifer and peer pressure and bullying. Whether it was or is in school or at a job, bullying is a thing that happens to people quite a bit, and peer pressure even more so. Sometimes fear of judgment makes people do things they wouldn't normally do. I can also see this relating to college or joining a frat or sorority. I could see this as Rocko and Heifer both trying to get into a college, but only Rocko gets in. Or I could see this as kind of the hazing of joining a frat, where Rocko's trying his hardest to get in, but even when he's doing what he's supposed to, aka working out in this case, he is still getting punished for it, where at first Heifer isn't trying, so the chameleons mark him down, but then when he does actually try, he just ends up getting kicked out, because maybe his heart wasn't actually in joining the frat, and he just wanted to because Rocko was there. And the end is Rocko realizing that he doesn't need to be in a frat, he can just be happy with his friend. This might be the craziest one out of all these, but I feel like there's some cult imagery in there, not directly, but the way that the Chameleon brothers convince him to do things like I talked about in peer pressure feels like a cult where they start out small and then work their way up to doing crazy stuff, and how people, because they are desensitized to the things before that, by the time they get to the bigger stuff, they're kind of just like whatever. But luckily, he was saved by having Heifer there. Who Gives a Buck starts with Rocko and Heifer watching TV at Rocko's before his TV goes out. After deciding he needs new stuff but doesn't have the money, Rocko decides to use the credit card he got in the mail to go to the mall and buy some new furniture. When they get to the mall, they have a hard time finding a place to park. They're able to go inside and get the most pertinent thing that's needed, which is a new bowl for Rocko's dog, Spunky. After buying the new bowl, Rocko goes a little crazy with the credit card and buys a lot of new things for himself. When the debt collectors come calling, he doesn't have any of the money, and just about everything in his house gets repoed. Heifer managed to get Spunky's dog dish, however, by selling one of his extra stomachs in an organ exchange program. This episode still also has some interpretations, but I feel like it takes less interpretation. It's pretty obvious about what it's about. But I do like that they included things like trying to find a parking spot and not being able to, that are issues that I have dealt with before. But also, one thing I found interesting about the mall was the fact that there was a robot that led them to where they were going on a conveyor belt, and all the stores were very specialty stores that just sold their one thing, and it made me think of the internet we have now, where we can order something online, and there might be a specialty store that just sells dog bowls like in the show. And more search engines these days are moving to AI, so a robot might show us around pretty soon, and some places are already doing it. I also feel like it captured going into debt well, because at first Rocko's reluctant to use the card, but after some urging on by Heifer, he decides to. And at first, he's just going to buy a bowl for Spunky because his bowl is old. But it turns into him going on a whole shopping spree. And that can happen sometimes if you don't have the self-control to have a credit card. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And I was originally planning on releasing this whole season 1 of Rocko's Modern Life as one video together, but that wasn't doing super great on my mental health, so I'm going to do it by episode. So I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned if you want to see more from me. And if I convince even just one person to go out there and watch Rocko's Modern Life, then I did my job. And I just hope you guys all have a great day.